Recently, I had a chance to play a modded game of Stellaris that has added the espionage system, and I just love how it was implemented. But I think there are a few things that Paradox should consider before implementing it, for there are a few issues that have also been pointed out by other players who have experienced these systems years past. 4X games have had espionage systems for years, and other Paradox titles have arguably the most expansive systems of that sort. Let's first talk about how this mod has done espionage in Stellaris, so that we can get a baseline. As you can see from my screen, you get two main agents at the start of the game, which you can deploy domestically or internationally. If you deploy them domestically, you can use them to thwart enemy plots, boost stability, reduce crime, or even increase governing ethics attraction. The interesting part comes at what you can do when you deploy an agent internationally. You can send them to a specific nation, and while they are working, they are gathering intelligence. Intelligence is your currency for all these operations. There is domestic and international intelligence separately, which is what you will use to commit those actions. Agents deployed internationally can increase the crime considerably within a system, spread propaganda, and when you have the technologies unlocked, steal science, or even sabotage space stations. The best part is, just increasing the crime in a place comes back to you in terms of energy credits, which are funneled through illegal activities on the planet directly to you. I do not know if there is a way to increase the amount of agents that you can have from 2, but even 2 of them can have an impact on the game, especially if you have them deployed domestically. Ideally, the way this could be improved is by having a budget slider for the intelligence services. The more you pay, the more agents you will be able to deploy, so to speak. That would be a simple way to implement that. So, why not have the system from the very start? It's been 4 years after all. Why is this so hard to implement? The reason for that is simple. Control over the actions of these agents are difficult to balance for fun. If they are too strong, people will feel like they have no control over the outcome of the game, and it will depend on the roll of a dice from the agents, and even if they are too weak, a concentrated effort from multiple nations will defeat the nation or considerably weaken them from within, without them being able to do anything, assuming all nations are given the same amount of agents. This can logically be solved by allowing players to set a black budget, a budget that is reserved for such operation which could expand the espionage network in addition to the intelligence. And of course you would need to hide the score and everything, but let's go back to our topic. On the bright side, the current system is arguably worse, with all the information being available to players at all times, meaning they can almost perfectly estimate the results of their actions and do not have to come up with contingency plans. The only thing that players can hide are secret alliances, which while do create that effect, it's not to the extent that it is very enjoyable and only works in multiplayer games. With the screenshot release from developers, it looks like we are going to see a change, and the fleet power, science, and economy factors will no longer be visible without sending agents to find out those differences. This could be interesting. If we could plant false information, for example, to deceive the enemy, and perhaps cause effects such as in the mod, increasing crime, funneling money, stealing science. In general, however, from the many games that I've seen, espionage mechanics outside of gathering information tends to be quite underwhelming, and I hope it becomes a legitimate way of weakening the enemy, and even if left untreated, can defeat the enemy entirely by encouraging insurrection, or perhaps some other ways convincing the planets directly to join you. Well, guess we will see how they implement it, but it looks like an espionage/diplomacy expansion is in the works.